I'm just confused, okay? You don't, it's okay. You don't have to apologize. We don't have to go into it. Untouched, exported baguettes. Go ahead, kill me on stream. No, because it's basically, here's the reason that I didn't even talk about. I had to cook you on Twitter, because otherwise, basically, you made a tweet that was like, explain this joke to me. I don't like explaining my jokes, because it's cringe not to be like, this is why something is funny and you should have laughed, but because it goes way too deep into the like, oh, comedians are modern philosophers. Look at the amount of small batch, handcrafted work that went into this delightful little one sentence that reveals something about the hypocrisy of our society. Like, my ass is not going to study. I was happy to look in the replies and let other people explain the nuances of the joke to you so I didn't have to do it myself. That saved me a lot of grief, I think. Let me go like this. Oh, we win. What was the joke? Pee pee poo poo? I mean, it was pretty much pee pee poo poo. As most of my jokes are. Do the poop bagel bit? You know what threw me for a loop was seeing people say, wait a minute, the poop bagel bit is real, it's not just something he made up. And then they were like, and the original is even funnier than his reference? I'm like, yeah, is this your first time ever encountering a reference to something? The reference is always less funny than the original copy, bro. That's why it's a reference. I'm not just sitting out here coming up with pearls of wisdom from the ether. I'm stealing them from other places and attributing them. I'm always like, did you see the TikTok? I can't remember the name because the name is always like 900 alphanumeric characters, you know? You know, there's pills this week. That's something. I was so sick this weekend, I watched an entire 2.5-minute long video of a man doing landscaping, which is something that I have not done in my entire life. I found myself on Reddit, and it was like r/oddly satisfying. It was SB mowing, yes. It was like, man does insane amount of lawn work for somebody. The guy goes like up to the door and knocks on the door and is like, hey, I run a YouTube channel where I like to edge up people's sidewalks and take care of their stuff. It looks a little overgrown here. Do you mind if I do it for you? And I watched, he worked on it for like the whole day. Cleaned up the lawn. It looks super nice. I was like, man, this guy's amazing. All the top comments, wow, that lady really seemed ungrateful for the amount of labor that the dude put in. I mean, I would have at least, I was pretty unsatisfied with how grateful she was for the labor that the dude put. Can you just be normal, bro? What's wrong with you? The dude put in 16 hours of labor for the Vine and for the love of the game. And then people were like, I hate the person that he did a favor for. Just relax. She's just, if someone came to my house and was like, can I do a favor for you? My ass would be a little hesitant too. I would be a little confused. That's like something that doesn't happen all that often. People got to relax a little bit on the internet, man. My ass would say no thank you. I would also say no thank you, but not because I'm scared. I would say no thank you because he's stealing my yard work from me, and I get a weird Protestant sense of purpose from doing it myself. I'd be like, you're not stealing my dopamine. SB mowing. That shit gets me out of the house. I'm so fucked up when I saw the video. I was like, man, I should start a landscaping company. No, the fuck I shouldn't. What are you talking about? You start a landscaping company. If I ever did that shit for a stranger and they weren't thankful enough, my ass would be selling the truck the next day. I'd be like, no shot. I'd be like, man, fuck you. Dickhead doctor. I did all this landscaping for you. You can't even give me some fish medicine. Piece of crap. Interesting. Four squatted, but for a good cause this holiday season. Give it a chance. Not unexpected. I also realized, you know what is true about the internet? Or at least true for a subset of the internet? I'll tell you what illuminated this for me, and we'll spin a little yarn here. There was a tweet that went viral, and then it went viral on Echo. The tweet was, and I'm paraphrasing, I know Librarian's going to have it good to go, like immediately. What is Echo? Well, like sometimes things go viral, and then the quote tweet of them goes viral as well. So it goes viral on its own merits, and then it goes viral as a dunk. You know, it's like when you get an N1 in basketball. Like it scores, but then also there was a foul. Anyway, it was a top-down image of a service dog that said, it was basically like a situation that may or may not have actually happened. 3-year-old walked up to my service dog. I body blocked the child and said, how about we don't walk up to strange animals that we don't know? And then the mom said, he's 3. And then blah, blah, blah. Like this self-righteousness, which maybe was misplaced or maybe was well-placed, depending on your perspective. Then that got quote tweeted by people that were like, why are people so weird about kids? Which my bias is that there is a lot of that online, but it's kind of like unrelated to the story. You've found it completely. Go, if you want to hate yourself, go read 100 replies to the original tweet. It is people arguing, 3 years old is old enough to know not to touch. I have 22 kids, and all of my kids know that they shouldn't. You're right. No kid should ever touch a dog. You should do something bad to yourself because kids are impulsive. I'm gonna give you a soothing balm. None of these people have been outside in 150 years. These are not real people. We can save ourselves. They're lost. We can save ourselves. This is a situation in 1991. If a 3-year-old walked up to a dog and the owner said, please don't come close to my dog. I don't want him to bite you. That's the end of the story. The end. It's the kind of thing that if you lived in a city, could have happened to you 3 times a month or something like that. Nowadays, a bunch of people who never go outside who are learning about what the outside world is like as if gazing out of a periscope at a deep ocean environment that they will die if they're exposed to, are giving their observations about like what the perfect interaction would look like. But it's like a Plato's myth of the cave. You're only seeing the shadows from the light. You weren't there to begin with in the first place. This is just, when normal people have this situation, you just say, hey, sorry, my kid walked over to your dog, or hey, that's okay, my dog's friendly or he's not friendly, my bad. You know, it just happens. 10 times a day, you got nothing to worry about. Online, it gets blown up into this, like, people were like genuinely like, that mom is a bad parent. You don't know what the hell's going on. Then people were like, the lady with the dog is a bad dog owner. Like, you don't know what it's like, man. Have some empathy for both parties here. These people are just on their walk to the damn grocery store. People are out here, you know, just maybe they got a call that like their family members in the hospital. They're distracted going down to the parking garage in an elevator. Everyone just really, you're putting too much hyper focus on all these little minute social interactions, man. And then the people that were involved in it having opinions is normal. But then like some dude in Ohio is reading this and I'm like, buddy, they don't even have elevators where you live. And you're out here writing like an essay about the way that I would have responded to this is. The world's out there, man. Just walk out the front door. You can experience all sorts of microaggressions like this every single day. You can put your perfect wisdom into practice every single time you walk into a new establishment. You got nothing to worry about. Just go live your life, man. This is great. You can't let it weigh on your psyche like this. Now, do I think that, for me personally, was she being a little passive-aggressive to a 3-year-old? Yes. But in her defense, that is also kind of funny. Like talking to a 3-year-old as if they're like the bad guy in a Marvel film is very funny. Especially because they won't get it. Because they're too old to watch Marvel films. Holy cow, the +2s. He might not have a good understanding of the Canadian medical system, but he understands how to say we should be nice to people, but then also slipping in a couple of owns at the end. I walked myself back like one level of abstraction when I saw all the discussion related to this stuff. And I was like, man, you don't realize how many situations I could exaggerate every single day on Twitter just to cause like 100,000 people to have a horrible night for no reason, even though they weren't there. I was going to move left to not bump into somebody, but then they moved to their right so that we would keep walking and bump into each other. It's so stupid. Everybody should just move to the... Did you know? Well, I grew up in Ohio. In Ohio, we moved to the right instead. No, you should never move to the right. That's just how they do it. Just relax, man. Someone in chat said, that's what a spouse is for, not Twitter. That's the thing, man. This is what has happened to the consequence of the destruction of the modern family. And I'm not talking about the TV show. You used to get together at dinner time and you would say shit that only you get mad about to your spouse. And legally, they have to go, no, you're right. Society's wrong. And then that would dissolve the entire situation. Now it becomes like a national media event. Because there's no safe outlet for these kind of insane discussions. You should get married now. Don't you think that marriage is kind of an outdated institute? This is shit you should tell your spouse. This ain't shit for me. This ain't shit for Twitter. You get married and then give your opinions on marriage to your spouse, where they trap it inside of an obsidian box and it never leaks out. And society's better as a result. Same thing about people who tell other people about their dreams. No, that's damn true. If you have not had a child with my DNA, or alternatively given birth to me, do not tell me about your dream. I don't want to hear it. I don't care if we've been best friends for 10 years. That's the thing about dreams, is because of the fucked up morphology of the human brain, they have emotional significance to you because you experience them firsthand. But when you start explaining it to another person, they're not experiencing it the same way you did. They're just going, whoa, until the end. Now, you could do that for your spouse. That's the damn law, okay? But if my dad starts telling me about a dream he had, brother, are you okay? My mom, I'll cut her a little bit of slack. She carried me for 40 weeks, you know? My dad, though, and then all my teeth fell out. And I showed up at work and I wasn't wearing any pants. I know, Dad. I know. We've all got them. Men can't talk to each other? Who are you, the librarian? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying don't tell me about your dreams unless you're my spouse. That's what I'm saying. Okay, this is how we save this run. Full sicko mode. Or if I'm like a dream fucking dude, I don't know really what that means. Well, you know, if I get paid to hear about your dreams, I wouldn't be like, don't tell me about your dreams. This is bad for business. A therapist? I don't really know. Is a therapist like a dream person? I don't think so. I think if I went to my therapist and I started telling them about the dreams that I have, they would be like, we're here to talk about like real stuff. I'm projecting onto my therapist, but like, I think my therapist is kind of good. So I think she would tell me, you know, we only got 42 minutes left on the clock. You sure you want to spend $172 on this dream shit? I get it. Your teeth fell out. I get it. You showed up for the class and you thought it was just a lecture, but actually it was the final exam and you haven't studied. But like, you got some real shit to work through. Are you sure you want to do that? It's your money. Crazy. Anyway, what was I talking about? I hate sauerkraut. That's what I'm really trying to say here. Sorry, brother. It's got to be done. Holy frick. I don't even think. Oh, man. How can you like kimchi and hate sauerkraut? It's a Weird Al Yankovic reference. I like sauerkraut. I enjoy sauerkraut a lot. You ruined my life? Oh, I got one more life left. You notice that the dude who was streaking at It's a Small World looked a little bit like Daniel Radcliffe in the Weird Al movie? He even had abs. Okay, I'm back. I got brain worms from the service dog post. You missed the... Sorry, that's my fault. You missed the part where I said you have to remember that the thousands of people that are all dissecting the social interaction are not real people. They're real in the sense that they're made of flesh and carbon and they consume resources and produce waste the same way any of us do. They're not real in the sense that you would ever observe them in an environment. They're unobservable. They're like the Higgs boson, okay? You would need like a new piece of machinery in order to ever have them impact the environment that you're in. The only way that they can affect you is if you invite them into your house vampire style by reading the insane responses to that thread. I want the walrus. I want the walrus. I want the walrus. I'm manifesting a walrus. I saw one in my dream last night. I'm manifesting a walrus. None walrus, huh? Okay. Well, here's what we do then, brother. One of these. We're so back. I never have the teeth fall out, by the way. That's not the dream of choice for me. My nightmare dream is either I'm on an airplane going back to South Korea, as I've talked about myriad times, or I'm showing up for school. And it's illogical, but I show up for a lecture in university, and it's like, how'd you guys do on the exam? And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't show up for class yesterday. I thought it was just a class, but it turns out it's the exam. I got a 0 on the exam. Now, why are they still having classes after the exam? Why am I showing up to classes after the exam? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. We're not your wife. Don't tell us. Fuck. You got me. Son of a bitch. Even though you asked, you still got me. You motherfucker, you. You slimy motherfucker, you. Classic, I haven't gone to class all semester. I'm fucked dream. Yeah, that's the one for me. Holy cow, we're cooking. The fucked up thing about the Korea dream is that I'm always like, no, this is a good idea. This is a great idea. And then as soon as I land, I'm like, fuck, what am I doing, bro? I'm stuck here for a year. Oh, no. When I'm on the plane, I'm like, this is the right decision for me right now. The dream me is like, this is going to be a lot of fun. I should be freezing you. What do you got for me? Nothing? Yeah, but it could be fun. I don't want any of this garbage. You are a tier 5? Though you make my ostrich slightly better. You make my frickin' dreams come true. That's bad. Holy fuck, what the hell just... We gotta get... You ever think that maybe part of the problem with modern society these days is that in 1963, all of the world's greatest minds were working at NASA, building rocket ships, inventing faster ways to get around planet Earth and stuff like that, generating clean electricity. And now they're all out here beating my ass in SAP at 1:57 p.m. on a Monday. Shit's insane. I saw that tweet too. Stop going on Twitter so much is where I get some of my best jokes. Be a wrinkled head. It's true, I'm a CPA doing jack shit. This is an honest, not messed up question, okay? Like, I'm not trying to hate on you or anything. If you are a CPA, what do you do from May until December? I'm sure you got some very proactive clients who, like, January 3rd, they're like, here's an envelope full of receipts and stuff like that. So you can get started on the taxes. Late filing all the way to October, I would be so fucking stressed out, man. As the person late filing, I've got a CPA friend. It seems to always be tax season. I guess, well, it is always tax season, right? People file late. Corporations have different ends to their fiscal year. Then there's different taxes, you know, there's income tax, corporate tax, payroll tax, et cetera, et cetera. Some phantom tax, so true. They're still trying to figure out the legislation for that one. No, please, 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 nobody tell Justin Trudeau about the phantom tax. Please, please. Oh. I'm getting so many -2s for that. What? That's funny, man. That is funny. I can't tell if you're -2ing me because you think I like Justin Trudeau, -2ing me because you think I hate Justin Trudeau, -2ing me because you don't like when a 35-year-old man is saying things like the phantom tax. I can't, there's too many possible reasons for a -2. Give me a rabbit on this one. I can already tell we're going yard. I don't know what the phantom tax is. Little bro said phantom tax. He doesn't even know. Kind of like the hoopoo bird. Extra gold. This would be a great time to get a buffalo. So Rick Moranis be like, Jean Poutine says he's going to abolish the phantom tax. Would love to know your thoughts on this. Somebody from Ohio speaks directly into the camera. Congratulations, Prime Minister Jean Poutine, for abolishing the phantom tax. People watching that shit in Moose Factory, like, they're so stupid. They're so stupid. They don't even know we don't have a phantom tax. See, I can insult Moose Factory as well. I can insult my own country. It's not just Ohio. The problem is, people are like, why is he going so hard on Ohio? Well, the first time I said it, everybody laughed. And then, like, it became like a thing. So now it's not only funny, but it's referential, which makes it even funnier. So it's like self-reinforcing. Ohio's got a lot of... It's got to do a lot of climbing to get itself out of the hole we dug. That's true. That's Rick Mercer, not Rick Moranis. It's my mistake on that one. Anyway, I know I said that it was with no disrespect, but I know you guys are just chilling. May to December, I know you're just chilling. Also, I don't want to stress any streamers out. Like, if they're still in here. But, like, sometimes I'll watch a streamer. They're talking about taxes. And then they're like, my taxes are due. But then they just are like, I'm just going to do late filing. Can you just do that? Like, I feel like if I was the IRS, I would be like, oh, and why did you file late this year? And they'd be like, I just didn't really get around to it. I would be like, well, fuck you, bro. You owe me a penalty. You can literally just ask for an extension and they're like, yeah, no problem. Really? Why is anybody filing their taxes, bro? My accountant even recommends it? Oh, because I want my refund. That makes sense. But, like, these are streamers. They are not paying quarterly. That's too much work. So you know they're not getting a refund. It's like the streamer tax cycle. Like, listen, this is how you know my audience is getting too old. 10 years ago, they'd be like, shut up! Now they're like, okay, speak on that. Streamer is like, you know, May 1st. I'm going to do better on my taxes this year. I'm going to pay quarterly. 6 months go by. Well, it's too late to pay quarterly now. I'm stressed out about tax season. Tax season comes, they file, they get hit with like an enormous one-time tax bill. You should really pay quarterly next year. Yeah, I'm going to do it. But now I'm so stressed out, but taxes are over. I get a little bit of relief. I don't have to think about them for 6 months. Okay, it's too late to start paying quarterly now. I just go, oh, brother. Yeah, you can put this in the sleep aid section of the compilation librarian. It's hurting my psyche too much. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how it works. Maybe it's the same in Canada. I'm not trying to say like it's an American thing. It might be the same in Canada. Maybe if you're like, you know, sorry I didn't file my taxes April 22nd or something, they'd be like, no problem. Did you have a good reason? I'd be like, I was kind of sleepy. They'd be like, all right, just get them done whenever. Or is it like get them done whenever, but then when you do them, they're like, you owe us more than expected because we applied like retroactive interest to it for the stuff that you should have owed us in April. I don't know. My wife's in chat roasting me. She said tomorrow's my 50th birthday. I'm still not weird about my age. It is my birthday tomorrow, though. It's true. This is where the audience stands up and applauds. And then despite not being 25, I say something like, yep, turning 22 again. And they go, ha, 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 ha. And then I say, but seriously, folks, can you imagine a 22-year-old kid on the front lines of World War II being like, you really want me to go in there, Commander? It's my birthday week. Kids these days have it too easy. You know, I'm sorry, I'm working on my Netflix special right here. It's going to be me and Matt Rife. Anyway, it puts it in perspective, though. I'm still not worried about my age. What's the point, right? I'm not concerned about my age is maybe a better way to describe it. But Kate said, you're turning 35 tomorrow. And I said, yeah. And then I said, it was more to freak her out than anything else. I said, yep, halfway to 70. Dude, you should have seen her face. I owned her so good. I was like, you're married to a damn skeleton, basically, like half a skeleton. Then she said, yeah, but you could do that for like any year. And I said, yeah, but 68 still seems kind of spry. 70 is like, you're getting up there. I know it's only halfway, but still. You're 15 away from 50? Yeah, that's still weird. No offense to the 50-year-old streamers that are like already out there. The idea of being a 50-year-old streamer is like fucking hilarious, bro. Like Corey. Corey's only 40, okay? And he's on Thanksgiving holiday right now. Let's be nice to Corey, folks. Sips is getting the... Sips has got to be like 44 or something, right? It's not an insult. There's nothing, I mean, there's nothing right or wrong about being 50. What are you going to do? Not be 50? There's only like 2 ways for that to happen. Be born less than 50 years ago or be fucking dead. I'll take the 50 then in that case. There's nothing wrong with being 50. But it's very funny to be like a 50-year-old streamer. And I'm well on my way to that. No. You're going to have 40-year-old viewers? That's true. It's almost funnier that there's like, there's going to be, I mean, this is so much ruder because it's like, we went from like punching across to punching way down. I was going to say it's so funny that there will be 50-year-old viewers on Twitch, but then there already are probably watching this right now that are like, well, I guess I'll just go fuck myself then. Okay. Like, dude, it's crazy. In 10 years, there's going to be 50-year-old chatters. Some CPA in chat who isn't doing shit right now because it's not the end of the fiscal year yet. Just sitting there racking up billable hours to press 3 buttons in Excel over and over. You want this. Yeah. What do you say fuck me for? I think if you are an accountant, you should overcharge your clients, myself included. Why? Because fuck them. They decided they didn't want to do it themselves. Make their pockets hurt. They're basically, anytime you get hired by a client, it's an insult, right? They're basically saying, my time's too important to do this shit. You fucking deal with it. So you gotta hit them where it hurts. Isn't that every contractor? Yeah, but if you were like mow my lawn and the landscapers hit you with like a $500 invoice, you would take them to federal court. If your accountant hit you with an invoice like that, what are you going to do? You can't fuck with your accountant. What are you going to, they're going to get you implicated in tax fraud. I think about that all the time. I'm like, my accountant, I don't know what they do. So I always just try to stay on their good side. They're doing some shit over in the lab. I don't know fully what it is. They know the ledgers. They know the laws. I got to keep a good relationship with them. Because if I'm ever like, if I'm 15 minutes late for an appointment, couldn't they be like, here's some shit like we shouldn't have done. Oh, it'd be a shame if this happened to find itself on the CRA's desk, right? Or do they, it doesn't make sense. They probably have some kind of oversight, right? I guess my view of an accountant is that an accountant is basically legal tax fraud. That might be a stupid way to look at it. But is this one of those things where people are going to be like, no, that's not what it's like. But then all the accountants are going to be like, well, legally speaking, it's not fraud, but they are taking advantage of things that normal people can't, that seem like it shouldn't be legal, but... You got to read the tax code, son. This is not a joke. I remember asking my accountant a question. This is like 6 or 7 years ago or something. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. What you're telling me doesn't make sense. And then I asked him what the basis of it was. And dude whipped out some shit from like 13th century English law. It was like some kind of legal precedent that was established in the era of like Richard the Lionheart. And then he's like, well, you see, because Canadian law is based off of British law, this is in the legal record as like a precedent that has stood up in court for 8 centuries. And I was like, you know what, brother? Fuck me. I shouldn't have asked. You're right. I shouldn't have asked the question. You do your job. I don't know why I'm out here trying to be like, your work is fake. Keep doing what you're doing. Obviously, you're doing a good job. I'm going to stay in my lane. You can stay in yours. I'm going to assume that you know what you're doing, whether that's true or not. I don't know if we're going to the moon. Thoughts on murder? Well, according to King John II, murder is illegal. It goes against the British idea of Magna Carta, which is English for respect for life. Do you guys know about the Japanese writer Mishima? Did you know? I saw that tweet too. Dude, I didn't know that he was one of the most celebrated writers of the 20th century and then got on stage to try to encourage a military coup in 1970 to have the Japanese military reinstate imperial rule in Japan. And the soldiers booed him so mercilessly that he committed seppuku in the room that was adjoining the balcony. Riz so bad he blanked himself, but for real, they literally heckled his ass to death. That's crazy. Japan does not mess around. I think we're going to lose, by the way. I was also... This is not funny, really, but it is kind of remarkable, I guess. I also read... Because as soon as I saw that on Twitter, I was like, I gotta check out this motherfucker's Wikipedia article. So he knew he was going to commit seppuku. When you commit seppuku, apparently, I don't want to sound like an expert, you need a second. Not like an increment of time, but you need somebody to chop off your heads to save you from pain after you disembowel yourself. But the dude who was his second was incapable of chopping his head off in 3 swipes. So this motherfucker needed a third. But you know that it's already fucked up. I can't imagine like being like dying and then almost having your head chopped off and then being like, could you just give it to the other guy? Like, come on, guys, come on. Like, that's not the way I want to go. But then secondly, before the dude committed seppuku, he was also like, I'm going to do it. Nobody else do it. And then his second was like, I'm going to do it. Nobody should ever die alone. And then he was like, please don't do it. So then after the first dude's head got chopped off, the other dude committed seppuku, so immediately invalidated the first dude's wishes. And then the dude who was the backup second for the dude who's now committing seppuku had to chop that motherfucker's head off too. That dude just showed up to like give them the air of having a crowd around them, and all of a sudden he had to cut off 2 motherfuckers' heads. He didn't sign up for that. That's crazy. Hey, bro, can you show up to our rally tomorrow? We just want to make it look like we got a lot of people who agree with us. Okay, but I'm not really going to do anything. That's fine. Don't worry about it. By the way, bring your sword. Like, it's... That being said, if I was the second and the dude was like, I'm going to commit seppuku, nobody else do it, I would be like, yes! Fuck yes! Thank dude! You had no idea. I was so nervous about this. I was like, I couldn't sleep last night. It's like when you haven't studied for a test and then your teacher says like, you get a substitute teacher the next day. And they're like, oh, the test is going to come tomorrow instead. You're like, oh, I'm saved. And then your dumb ass doesn't study the next night either. Because you're like, if they're sick on that day, they'll probably be sick on the next day. But then they're back the next day. And you're like, what the fuck? How did you do that? No, no.